Hello everyone. I'm Ted. And today we will be discussing Chapter 22. Emerging Issues and Challenges. Let's start. Outsourcing, offshoring and HR. Outsourcing is simply obtaining work previously done by employees inside the company from sources outside the company. If someone has specialized in an activity which is not strategically critical to our business and is able to do that cost-effectively, it is better to get it from outside. You get benefited in the form of excellent quality, reliable supply, and rock-bottom price. You can also focus exclusively on doing what you are good at, the so-called mission-critical activities, thereby enhancing your own competitive advantage. For example, Dell outsources the manufacture of its computers. It concentrates all its efforts on enhancing its web-based direct sales capability and does not dilute its energies on other aspects of the game. Unable to fight rivals, IBM sold its PC division to the Chinese firm, Lenovo, at present, keeping an 18% minority interest in Lenovo. It is now doing what it knows best, that is providing clients with IT management services. It just buys PCs very cheaply from Lenovo as it needs them. It's able to free up capital locked up in this division, and also release people doing this job previously, and is able to focus more intensely on its new emphasis on IT systems, BPO, and consulting. Outsourcing, not surprisingly, is a big hit with many global firms. Companies such as Nike and Reebok have succeeded by focusing on their core strengths in design and marketing and contracting all their footwear manufacturing to outside suppliers. Sun Microsystems relies so heavily on outside manufacturers and distributors that its own employees never touch one of its computers. Outsourcing is changing the way HR departments operate as well. Technology makes it easy to outsource HR activities to specialist service providers, by allowing service providers real-time internet-based access to the employer's human resource information database, payroll, benefits, applicant testing, and screening, carrying out reference checks, exit interviews, employee training, etc. are some of the popular human resource tasks that are being outsourced currently. Companies are outsourcing more HR activities nowadays because the transactional functions could be turned over to a service provider with a process and technology expertise, and the core company can concentrate its efforts on strategic acquisition, motivation, and retention of talent, which by all means is critical to business success. What is outsourcing? Acquiring a product or service rather than producing it internally. The contracting out of a company's non-core, non-revenue producing activities to specialists. Transfer or delegation to an external service provider the operation and day-to-day management of a business process. Offshoring, also known as global sourcing, refers to the movement of jobs overseas. For example, in an age of cheap telecommunications, almost any job, professional or blue-collar, can be performed in India for a fraction of US wages. MNCs are forced to indulge in this kind of labor arbitrage and remain ahead of competition. Cost reduction is the overwhelming motivation for doing so. The cost savings are estimated to be varying between 40–60% in terms of labor costs when offshoring work is moved to countries such as India, Philippines, Russia, China, Mexico, Brazil, and Hungary. It is estimated, according to a Wall Street Journal's report, and also according to Fresta Research, Inc., that 3 to 4 million US jobs ranging from office support, computer operations, sales management, legal services, and many more are likely to move offshore to some of these countries by 2015. Rising levels of educational attainment in developing countries such as China, Philippines, and India, especially in fields such as science, technology, electronics, telecommunications, etc., make offshoring increasingly attractive for MNCs in the years ahead. Nearshoring is the transfer of business or IT processes to companies in a nearby country, often sharing a border with your own country, where both parties expect to benefit from one or more of the following dimensions of proximity: geographic, temporal, time zone, cultural, linguistic, economic, political, or historical linkages. The service work that is being sourced may be a business process or software development. As with offshore, the term nearshore was originally used in the context of fishing and other ocean-based activities and later adapted by the business world. Nearshoring simply means that the business has shifted work to a lower-cost organization, but within its own region, broadly defined. In Europe, nearshoring relationships are between clients in larger European economies and various providers in smaller European nations. Major centers are in the Czech Republic, Hungary, Portugal, Poland, Romania, Bulgaria, Belarus, and the Baltic. There are also nearshore centers in larger markets, such as Russia and Ukraine. These destinations are attractive because they are low cost, have skilled labor forces, and a less stringent regulatory environment, but crucially they allow for more day-to-day physical oversight. They also have strong cultural ties to the major economic centers in Europe. For example, Bulgaria is now considered to be a viable outsourcing destination for such companies as German software company SAP, where labor costs are low, and the skills available, but which is also closer to home. In the USA, American clients nearshore to Canada and Mexico, as well as to many other nations in Central and South America and the Caribbean. The complexity of offshoring stems from different languages and cultures, long distances, and different time zones, spending more time and effort on establishing trust and long-term relationships, overriding communication barriers and activities of that kind. Nearshoring doesn't necessarily overcome all of these barriers, but the proximity allows more flexibility to align organizations. Nearshoring has become a marketing differentiator for those nations and providers who wish to set themselves apart from sourcing centers in Asia, especially the dominant, India. Moving next. Why India is an attractive destination for outsourcing. The world's largest democracy, India has fundamental strengths that provide a good business environment. The use of English as the principal language of business and administration. An established independent judiciary. A strong legal and accounting system. A free and vibrant press. An abundance of qualified and skilled manpower. Self-sufficiency in agriculture. Buoyant industrial growth. Large and diversified infrastructure and industries spread across the country. A strong and mature private sector, accounting for 75% of India's GDP, growing exports. A comfortable balance of payments situation. Current account convertibility. A developed banking system and financial markets. High domestic savings and investment rates. Stable inflation rate. Moving next. Positive outcomes. Outsourcing is meant to offer solid benefits in the form of cost savings, quality service, customer satisfaction, and thereby build the reputation and image of the firm. If the firm is able to identify and marry a reliable, dependable vendor who can put things in place as per the terms of the contract, it can derive the following benefits. Focus on core competency. A company is able to focus on its core strengths such as customer intimacy, product leadership, brand building, or operational excellence. The non-core activities may be pushed to outside vendors. By concentrating effort on key drivers that deliver strategic value, a firm is able to improve its competencies and stay ahead of competition. Lower cost. Outsourcing agencies deliver results, due to specialization, at amazing speeds. Since they are specialists in a field, they know how to bring down costs to bare-bone levels. Even if a firm wants to do everything internally, it will not be able to obtain significant savings in cost. Therefore, it makes sense to hire an outside expert to do the job in the best possible manner at rock-bottom prices. No need to spend on infrastructure. The firm does not have to spend a penny in creating infrastructure needed to handle non-core activities. The systems, processes, resources and people belong to vendors who are eager to serve a client at competitive prices. Service at an affordable price. The survival of vendors is dependent on how efficiently and effectively they service the cause of clients at an attractive price. In such a tough, competitive scenario, a firm would be able to get the services of a specialist at irresistible prices. The firm can tighten the screws and what it wants on extremely favorable terms. Access to vendors' expertise and capabilities. Good and competent providers make extensive investments in technology, people, and methodologies. They acquire expertise by working with many clients facing similar challenges. This combination of specialization and expertise ensures the customers a competitive advantage and helps them avoid the cost of acquiring technology and training. Fast, quick and effective deliveries. Another benefit of outsourcing is that you can make quicker deliveries to customers. Your outsourcing partner will be able to provide faster deliverables and you in turn will be able to make quick deliveries to your customer. Faster deliveries can also help you save on time. Rely on vendors for difficult to design and carry out jobs. Outsourcing is certainly one option for addressing the problem of managing difficult activities requiring core technical skills. It is essential to remember that outsourcing doesn't imply abdication of management responsibility, nor does it work well as a solution to solve critical and suddenly erupting trouble of a company. However, a company can outsource only those difficult problems which it understands properly, because if the organization doesn't understand its own requirements, it won't be able to communicate them to an outside provider. Reduced risk. Tremendous risks are associated with the investments the organizations make. Markets, competition, financial conditions, government regulations, and technologies all change quickly. Further, it is very risky to keep up with these changes, especially those in which the next generation requires a significant investment. However, in the context of outsourcing providers make investments on behalf of many clients, not just one, and shared investment spreads risk, and significantly reduces the risk borne by a single company. Improve customer satisfaction. With timely deliveries and high-quality services you can impress your customers. Outsourcing can help the firm gain from increased customer satisfaction. It can help a firm remain close to its customers, it can meet all the requirements of customers in terms of time, cost, delivery, quality, etc., and thereby gain an unbeatable competitive advantage. Exploit time zone advantages. Outsourcing to countries such as India has a time zone advantage. Your night will be India's day. With this advantage, your outsourcing partner can complete critical work and send it to you the next day. Thus, your work is continued by your outsourcing partner even after your employees go home. This enables the work to be completed much faster and gives your business a competitive advantage. This is one of the benefits of offshore outsourcing. Moving next. Risks and dangers. Outsourcing is not always on the credit side of the ledger. Several risks stare at the company trying to shake hands with an identified vendor. The exercise can prove to be futile, wasteful, and even dangerous if the vendor does not deliver results as promised. The following list will uncover the story clearly. Dependence. The firm becomes a victim of overdependence in course of time. It becomes virtually impossible to get things done if vendors collude and resort to collective actions leading to cost escalation. Delay. There is no guarantee that vendors would stick to a tight schedule. If they fail to deliver results, the firm will have to face the music from its own customers. Other than changing a vendor, the firm will not be able to rectify things quickly. Competition. The vendor may put up a competing outfit, after getting acquainted with the business environment of the firm. The vendor, after acquiring the tricks of the trade, may get tempted to start operations independently, posing a competitive threat to the firm. Difficult to get quality service at a remunerative price. A further issue is that in many cases there is little that differentiates the service providers other than size. They often provide similar services, have similar geographic footprints, leverage similar technology stacks, and have similar quality improvement approaches. Your outsourcing provider might not be providing services only for your organization. Since your provider might be catering to the needs of several companies, they will not be able to give your company 100% attention. Secrets leaked out. Vendors may begin to leak the secrets of a firm when relations get spoiled. Any unethical act on their part would destroy the image and reputation of a firm. While outsourcing services such as payroll processing services and tax preparation services, your outsourcing provider will be able to see your company's confidential information, and hence there is a threat to security and confidentiality in outsourcing. 3 important dangers in this regard are worth mentioning here. Fraud. When you outsource work, there is a very high risk that it is going to be pitted with fraud and corruption, which will indirectly affect the end product that you provide to your customers. Intellectual property theft. This is a major concern even for big companies who are outsourcing tasks. Intellectual property violations end up causing a lot of damage to the repute of a company as well as result in lower revenue. The best example of outsourcing gone wrong is in the case of China. You will find a huge number of goods that are excellent copies of big brand being sold at a fraction of the price. Distance from source and time zone. Factors such as the infrastructure of where you outsource, the distance from the source or the difference in time zone in some cases of outsourcing can affect the value of your business. With more and more businesses worldwide leaping onto the outsourcing bandwagon, it has become a prime concern for startups as well as big companies to conduct due research before deciding to outsource. Outsourcing is a decision that comes after the need to expand faster arises. However, like everything in business, unforeseen costs are also bound to arise in cases of outsourcing. Human Resource Outsourcing. Human Resource Outsourcing, HRO, is a process in which a company utilizes the services of a third party to take care of its HR functions. A company may outsource a few or all of its HR-related activities to a single or combination of service providers located in offshore destinations like India, China, Philippines. The decision by Unilever, for example in 2006, to outsource its HR activities mostly transaction-oriented such as payroll administration, applicant tracking, training and development, record keeping, performance appraisal follow-up etc. to Accenture appears to be in the right direction. These are basically people and effort-intensive activities but are quite routine in nature. Such repetitive work can easily be turned over to a third-party specialist who would be able to deliver excellent results, leading to significant savings in cost and effort. Through standardization of processes, the specialist is able to deliver service at unbelievable speed also. At the same time, the organization should continue to perform transformational HR roles such as attracting and retaining talent, bringing about strategic change in partnership with line managers, championing employee concerns etc. Across boardrooms and business schools, HR is primarily viewed as a powerful tool to attract and retain talent, build workforce capabilities, handle grievances, and bring out the best in people. With high attrition rates still haunting most people-intensive industries, an active and vibrant HR can be a key differentiator between mediocre and high-performance organizations. HR function hit from all corners. HRO, nowadays, is the name of the game in most companies that face stiff competition from local, global as well as global companies. Cutthroat competition is forcing every player to reduce cost to bare-bone levels. The cost reduction, at the same time, should not happen at the cost of quality and customer service. Most firms are caught in an eternal dilemma, that is, how to strike a fine balance between cost, technology, quality, service and deliver consistent value to customers better than rivals. This is where companies with a good strategy in place move ahead of competition and win the race. The first victim in this race to outwit and outsmart rivals is the HR function, which is getting squeezed from all corners. The non-strategic, run-of-the-mill, routine functions are put on the mat and outsourced to vendors with considerable experience, expertise, and who are able to offer quality service at affordable cost. Key drivers of HR outsourcing: improve efficiency, enhance quality, cope with technological changes, outwit competition, conserve key resources for innovations and quality improvements, focus on strategic activities, deliver value to customers consistently. Most commonly outsourced HR functions: recruitment and staffing needs, background checks, employee counseling/assistance programs, healthcare benefits administration, retirement benefits administration, employee relocation, payroll administration, retirement planning, work-life balance benefits administration, executive development and coaching, human resource information system, risk management, employee communication, performance management, training and development activities. To do or not to do dilemma. The decision to outsource, of course, is a tricky one. The firm should have a genuine reason for getting married to a vendor with excellent credentials in terms of dependable and good quality service. If the firm does not want to make further investments in technology and wants to improve quality of HR services by making use of vendors' considerable expertise and competencies, then there is no problem. The firm can have the cake and eat it too. It can cut down its costs, improve service quality and focus on its core competencies. The decision proves to be faulty one only when the service provider does not live up to the promise and potential. If the vendor fails to deliver speedy, effective, and good quality service as desired, then the very future of the firm is open to question. Then there could be cultural issues as well, where the vendor does not understand the culture of the firm and fails to integrate processes with established ways of doing things, much to the agony of key stakeholders of the firm. Secrets can be leaked out, confidential information flows out freely, and the lapses could eat away the vitals of a firm within no time. Striking rapport with a vendor and building sustainable long-term relationships may prove to be a knotty affair where the vendor has unmanageable number of clients from various fields. Any impairment in relationship could affect the morale of the employees of the firm, and there could be stiff resistance from all quarters. In such a case, every move of the vendor will be looked at with suspicion, leading to further erosion in confidence. If the core functions for which the vendor is known cannot be delivered matching the expectations of the firm, then the firm can face trouble from its own customers almost overnight. To ward off challenges of various kinds from known and unknown factors, the firm must do everything possible to convert the whole rhetoric into a concrete action plan. Before moving ahead with HR outsourcing, the firm should get the whole issue examined thoroughly by a team of internal experts. It must also carefully assess the negative impact on the morale of staff. It must explain everything at times, showing monumental patience in crystal clear terms so that there is no resistance from staff later on. If it is able to convince the employees about the need to conserve energies and resources that could be deployed to turn its key competencies into a kind of strategic advantage, half the battle is over. The negative impacts on staff motivation and morale must be addressed carefully so that talent does not run away. Yes, in the long run HRO can be a winning proposition. But the short-term impacts on the HR function in terms of loss of control of key processes and the resultant reductions in staff count must be handled with care. If the firm is able to align its HR strategy to its mission and is able to win over the hearts of its employees, the benefits can flow from day one. This is where experience counts. HR must be willing to shift gears, change colors, and be prepared to wear multiple hats in order to survive and flourish in this competitive jungle. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. This video is brought to you by Bookstune. Like this video to encourage us. Share this video to spread the knowledge. And subscribe to this channel for latest update.